It's late at night, and you're lying in bed, phone in hand, staring at a screen you've looked at 100 times before. Your credit card balance, the minimum payment due, the little red number that never seems to shrink no matter how much you send it. You do the math in your head again, the same math you've done 1,000 times, and it still doesn't add up to freedom. You tell yourself, next month I'll pay extra. You've told yourself that before. And somewhere in the back of your mind, a heavier thought creeps in, quiet but persistent. Is this just how it's going to be? The interest keeps compounding while your hope keeps shrinking. You feel it in your chest before you even feel it in your bank account. Not just debt, bondage. Friend, if that's you right now, I want you to hear something. This isn't just a numbers problem, it's a freedom problem. And I don't just mean freedom from a bill. I mean the kind of freedom that changes how you breathe, how you sleep, how you walk through your days. Because there's a story in Scripture about a people who were in bondage far worse than a credit card statement. They were slaves. Every day of their lives belonged to someone else. And God didn't just improve their conditions. He didn't negotiate a lower payment. He brought them all the way out. Today, we're going to talk about debt, but not the way the world talks about debt. We're going to talk about what the Bible says about bondage and freedom and the God who specializes in bringing people out of both. By the end of this, I don't just want you to have a plan for your balance. I want you to remember what real freedom actually feels like. Here's what's happening to so many of us, and maybe you already feel it. Debt doesn't just take your money, it takes your peace. You start making decisions out of fear instead of faith. You avoid opening the mail. You flinch when your phone rings from a number you don't recognize. You've stopped dreaming about the future because the present already feels like it's underwater. And the world's answer is usually one of two things: either shame you into working harder or numb you into ignoring it completely. Neither one actually sets you free, because the world treats debt as purely a math problem, when really, for most of us, it's a heart problem wearing a money mask. Let's be honest about how debt actually creeps in, because it rarely arrives all at once. It's not usually one reckless decision, it's 100 small ones. It's the emergency that hit when you had no cushion. It's the season you were unemployed and the card became the bridge. It's the wedding, the funeral, the medical bill, the moment life happened faster than your savings could keep up. Debt, for most people, isn't a character flaw. It's often the evidence of a gap between what life demanded and what you prepared for. That distinction matters because how you understand the cause shapes how much shame you carry into the solution. There's a story in Exodus that speaks directly into this. The Israelites were in Egypt for 400 years, slaves, not behind on payments, owned, forced labor, no rest, no say over their own lives. Pharaoh kept adding to their burden every time they cried out. When they asked for relief, he didn't lighten the load. He told them to make the same number of bricks, but now they had to gather their own straw too. Their pain became their inconvenience to somebody else's power. Does that sound familiar? The way debt seems to grow the moment you try to get ahead of it? You throw an extra $50 at the balance, and somehow the interest ate most of it before you even noticed. It can feel like Pharaoh's Egypt. The harder you work, the more the load seems to grow instead of shrink. And when God sent Moses to Pharaoh, he didn't ask for better working conditions. He said, "Let my people go." Full freedom, not a payment plan, a complete exodus, not a renegotiation of the terms of slavery, but a total ending of it. And here's what's remarkable. When they left Egypt, Scripture says they didn't leave empty-handed. They plundered the Egyptians. They walked out with silver and gold. The very system that had enslaved them ended up funding their freedom. That's not a coincidence in the story. That's the character of God on display. He doesn't just remove the chains, he restores what was taken. Here's the shift I want to offer you today. You're not defined by your balance. You are not your debt. Debt is something you carry, not something you are. There's a difference between being in a hard season and believing the hard season is your identity. The Israelites were still called God's people while they were still slaves in Egypt. Their circumstance never changed who they belonged to. That matters because shame keeps more people in debt than any bad math ever has. Shame says you did this to yourself, so you deserve to stay stuck. Shame keeps the statement unopened. Shame keeps you silent when a friend could have seen you a way out. Shame convinces you that talking about it, even praying about it, is somehow admitting failure. But Scripture says something different. It says the same God who split a sea to bring a whole nation out of bondage is not intimidated by your credit card statement. He's not waiting for you to earn your way to freedom through perfect behavior. He's inviting you to walk out one faithful step at a time, just like they did. So what does walking toward freedom actually look like practically? Let's talk through it, because faith without action is just a feeling, and I want to give you more than a feeling today. First, name the full picture, not partially, not "I'll look at it eventually." Sit down, list every debt, every balance, every interest rate, every minimum payment. Write it all in one place where you can see the whole picture at once. In the wilderness, God didn't ask Israel to pretend Egypt wasn't real. He asked them to leave it behind with open eyes, fully aware of what they were walking away from. You can't walk out of what you won't look at. The number might scare you today, but an unclear number is scarier long-term than a clear one, because what you can't see, you can't plan around. Second, choose a direction and start walking, even if it's slow. There are two well-known approaches: the debt snowball, where you pay off your smallest balance first for quick momentum and emotional wins, or the debt avalanche, where you attack the highest interest rate first to save the most money over time. Neither one is more spiritual than the other. Pick the one you'll actually stick with, because consistency matters more than perfect optimization. Pay minimums on everything, then throw everything extra you can find at one target. It's not about the fastest math, it's about momentum, because a people walking even slowly is still moving toward the promised land. Standing still is what keeps you in Egypt.
Third, resist new bondage while you're walking out of the old one. This is the part nobody wants to hear. Stop adding new debt while you're trying to pay off old debt. That means pausing the credit card for a season. That means saying no to the thing that would feel good today but cost you 6 more months of freedom tomorrow. The Israelites didn't wander back into Egypt for supplies halfway through the journey, even when the wilderness got hard, even when they complained and grumbled and missed the food they used to have. Every new charge while you're trying to get free is a step back toward the very slavery you're walking away from. Fourth, build a small buffer as you go, because emergencies are what push most people back into debt in the first place. Even $50 or $100 set aside, untouched, becomes the difference between an unexpected expense derailing your progress and an unexpected expense being a minor bump you absorb without reaching for the card. This isn't optional. This is wilderness manna, just enough gathered daily so you're not caught empty-handed when trouble comes. Fifth, let generosity be part of your freedom, not just the reward waiting at the end of it. Even in scarcity, even mid-debt payoff, give something. It doesn't have to be large. Generosity while you're still in process is a declaration that debt doesn't own your heart, even while it still holds a number on a screen. It keeps your posture one of trust instead of scarcity, and it reminds you that you still have something to offer, even in the middle of the wilderness. Sixth, get an accountability partner or community around this. The Israelites didn't walk out of Egypt alone. They walked out together, a whole nation, leaning on each other, following the same cloud and fire. Debt thrives in isolation and secrecy. Tell someone you trust. Let them ask you how it's going. Shame loses its grip the moment it's spoken out loud to someone who won't condemn you for it. But here's what I really want you to walk away with today, more than the practical steps. Freedom was never meant to be something you achieve alone through sheer willpower. In the wilderness, God didn't hand the Israelites a map and say, "Figure it out." He went before them, a pillar of cloud by day, a pillar of fire by night, present, visible, leading. Every single day of that 40-year journey, He didn't abandon them to their own navigational skills. That means your journey out of debt isn't a solo project you have to white-knuckle through. It's a wilderness walk with a God who has already proven He knows the way out of bondage because He's done it before. for people who had far less hope than a repayment plan gives you. He didn't just get them out of Egypt, he sustained them the entire way to the Promised Land, providing water from rock, bread from heaven, and clothes that didn't wear out for 40 years. If he sustained an entire nation for 4 decades in a literal desert, he is not going to abandon you halfway through a spreadsheet. So here's the question I want you to leave sitting with today. What if you stopped waiting to feel ready and started walking instead? The Israelites didn't leave Egypt because they had it all figured out. They didn't know exactly how they'd cross the sea or what they'd eat in the wilderness. They left because they trusted the one leading them more than they trusted their own understanding of the situation. Freedom, real freedom, often begins before the plan is perfect. It begins with the first step out the door. So this week, I want you to try something. Sit down with every debt you owe, in the light, not the dark. Write it down, all of it. Then say this out loud, even if it feels strange, even if no one else hears it but you. Lord, I don't have to carry this alone. Lead me out of bondage, one faithful step at a time, the same way you've always led your people. That's it. Not a perfect plan, just an honest first step taken in trust instead of shame. If this spoke to something in you today, share it with someone who's carrying a balance heavier than they've told anyone else about. Somebody who needs to know that their debt isn't a life sentence and that shame doesn't have to be the thing that keeps them stuck. And subscribe, because we're going to keep walking through what real financial freedom looks like, rooted in Scripture, one video at a time, one honest step at a time. Until next time, remember this: you are not your debt. You are not stuck. You are in a season, and seasons change. The same way Egypt was a season, not a permanent address, your balance is a season too, not your identity. And the God who brought a whole nation out of 400 years of bondage has not forgotten the weight you're carrying either. Go in peace.